Joining me now, trial attorney Misty Marris and Jeffrey Rosen, President and Chief Executive Officer of the National Constitution Center. To you both, thank you. Misty, let me start with you and pick up where May left off. Can you add some clarity to the exceptions to this ruling?
Well, of course, there are always going to be exceptions in any type of situation. That's where we live in the exceptions in the law. There is a carve out for what's called compelling interest. And in fact, using race as a factor in college admissions was appropriate under a 2003 decision, now presumably underturned with this decision, under what's called the compelling interest test. So when you're seeing these types of exceptions, for instance, with the military, it could fall under that umbrella. And this decision is focused on those college admissions, but will most certainly have implications beyond that, for instance, in potentially employment situations, graduate schools, and even lower level secondary education schools like private schools for high school and elementary school and all of that. So it definitely isn't limited just to these universities, but there's always going to be certain exceptions to any rule.
And let me bring you in here, Jeffrey. Your reaction to the constitutionality laid out by Chief Justice Roberts in the decision?
Well, it's quite unequivocal. Aside from that one footnote 22, which says that the decision doesn't apply to the military academies, Chief Justice Roberts says that race can only be used in this way, and this is the crucial takeaway moving forward. Nothing in this opinion should be construed as prohibiting universities from considering an applicant's discussion of how race affected his or her life, be it through discrimination, inspiration, or otherwise. So you can still write an essay about how race has influenced your life, but Chief Justice Roberts stresses the benefit to the student who overcame racial discrimination must be tied to that student's courage and determination. And in other words, students must be treated based on his or her experience as an individual, not on the basis of race. So you could still write an essay saying, I overcame challenges because of my race, but universities have to take that account only in your particular case and can't draw racial categories and classifications. The constitutional significance of this cannot be overstated. It's the first time that the court takes away the exception that had been offered to universities since the Bakke decision in 1978 and says that you can only have racial classifications for two reasons: to prevent violence or imminent wrongdoing, or to compensate people for the specific effects of discrimination by the institution. And by repudiating the idea that diversity is a compelling interest for universities, the court has dramatically narrowed the ability of universities to take race into account, and the implications will be very significant.
Jeffrey Rosen, Misty Marris, I'm going to ask you both to stand by. We're going to get a quick commercial break in as